Today we're going to be showing you how to make skijoring lines, dogjoring lines, canicross lines, bikejoring lines, and yeah, the thing is, for the different sports you really should have different lengths, or at least there's different tolerances. So this comes from the ManMat website. And what it says is for bikejoring it should be no shorter than 2.5 meters and no longer than 3 meters. Generally outside of ManMat they recommend for skijoring about 3 meters, but ManMat say for skijoring not less than 2.5 meters and not more than 3.5 meters. So those measurements are not under tension with the bungee at rest. So what we're going to go for is we're going to go for 2.6 meters. Yeah, the thing that's hard to measure is kind of the stretch of the bungee and the amount of snap. You can obviously measure the length either not under tension or under tension, but yeah, also the bungee we have available might not necessarily always be the same thickness. Today we're using 10mm bungee, which is a little bit too thick really for the rope, but what it is good for is we can keep the stretchy area quite short, which means that you can grab over if you've got a dog attached to you, and you can reach past the bungee and pull the dogs back. Right, so let's make some lines. So this is 8mm rope, which is actually thinner than the bungee that we're putting down the car. So yeah, 8mm bungee would probably be better for this purpose, but we're going to start with an eye splice. And as if you're a Het to Huskies guide, which I presume most of the people watching the video will be, the technique I'm going to use for this is a little bit different to the one that you might have learned, because I only have access to one side. The other side's still on the spool, because I'm going to do most of the splicing and put the bungee in before I actually measure the rope. That way the measurement is going to be a little bit more accurate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass my fid through there. So this is going to be the start of the line, the side that's attached to the human. So I'm going to make the eye slightly bigger than necessary. That way you can pass that through your belt and, as if necessary, pass the line through there to attach it to yourself, as if you don't have a clip or a carabiner. Right, so I've passed the rope through. Now I'm going to go over, and what this will do is going to pinch the rope into place on both sides, and that way there's absolutely no chance of it slipping through. So I've gone through there like that, and we've got that. So now the tail end I'm going to tuck into here. Voila! Okay, so I've cut myself a 40cm length of 10mm bungee. What I like to do is I like to wrap tape around the ends. In this case I'm using electrical tape, and then I cut it. So I tape, then I cut, and that keeps the outside of the bungee a little bit tidier, prevents a bit of fraying. And I'm just going to quickly burn that off. Okay, so I've got my rope here with my eye splice, and I'm going to pass it into the cord of the rope. Okay, so just the same as when you're passing your tail end in, when you're splicing, the way to go about this is you bunch the rope up and you can pull it along. You see what I'm doing? Bunch it up, pull it through. Okay, so I'm nearly through now. So what I'm going to do is just tie an overhand knot on the end, just to stop a knot. And I'm going to make that tight. And as if you're using thinner bungee cord, you might want to wrap a knot actually around the back of the rope. But this is so thick, I don't think I need to bother with that. Also, obviously, with a thinner bungee, you can double it up. Okay, so I've got the bungee all the way in now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on bunching it up and threading it through a little bit. Just to take some of the slack out of the rope. You see how it's bunching up there? Okay, I've got a bit of that through. Now what I'm going to do is break into there. And I'm going to pull the end of the bungee out. So the reason we have different lengths for different sports is basically stopping distance. So you definitely don't want your skijoring line to be too short, otherwise there's a chance of you skiing into the dogs, which obviously we don't want. This is the tricky part. A pair of pliers might be handy for this. There we go, we're through. So what I'm going to do is push that back, bunch the rope up as much as I can, and I'm going to tie another stopper knot. And while I've got the tape out, I'm going to tape over where that splice is too, to stop it fraying and to give it a little bit of extra protection from it actually slipping out. You could also use self-amalgamating tape for this. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to clip the end of the rope to a fixed point. So it's on a pistol lock that I know is 2 inches, 50 mil, 5 centimetres. I'm going to measure it at rest. It never works when you're trying to film it. Okay, so I'm going to measure 2.6. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert the fid there. So it's okay, I've still got a hole. Okay, so the fid was in there. So I'm going to cut it at a normal amount for making a splice. So what's that, about 250 mil? Maybe a bit less. Let's call it 200. I'm going to cut that there. I'm going to burn both ends of the rope, both ends, because that'll save me from burning that next time. Okay, so this splice is going to make the rope a little bit shorter, so I'm just going to move that forward about 2 centimetres. And then I'm going to do the same splice. Okay, so just wrap that with tape and then we're done. Actually we're not, because I'm going to show you how to make this into a double line. So I've cut a length of rope to 1.5 meters and I've spliced a little eye on the end. So now what I'm going to do is get the doggy side of this skijoring line. I'm going to hold the 2 loops together and I'm going to find the point that this rope ends, and I'm going to go 5 inches, 125 mil from the end. I'm going to pass the fid through there, still pinching that, and I'm going to pull that through. So I'm now going to pass the fid through the 2 ropes together. and go through there. And I'm going to pass this through the single side of the rope once. I'm going to pull it tight, and then I'm going to go up into the car. We've got a German invasion. A German invasion. Okay, so I'm going to pass that down here. Down towards the side where the human goes. And there. Right, so I've got 2 splices there to wrap with tape, and yeah, if you want more information about lengths and measurements, I'm going to put that in the description. And as if you're a guide doing this, please look at the description, because it's a good way that we can update the information in the video. Right, there we go. Now you know how to make a skijoring, canicross or bikejoring line, or joring, depending on how you want to pronounce it, which is entirely up to you. Bye bye.